Support for this podcast comes from St. Alphonsus Orthopedic and Sports Medicine Clinics, with physicians, physical therapists, and trainers who treat sports and performance-related injuries, with locations across the valley. More information on services and locations at stalphonsus.org/stayactive.
From Boise State Public Radio, this is The Connector. It's Idaho's Daily News. Good morning. I'm George Prentice. Governor Brad Little is talking nuclear. Where else? At the Idaho National Lab. They're talking broadband over at the Idaho Statehouse, and meteorologists are already talking winter. It is Tuesday. Check your calendar. Yeah, it's still September 23rd. I'm George Prentice. Here we go with today's stories. Governor Brad Little is rebranding an existing nuclear energy task force. That in part to market Idaho as a hub for the industry. As James Dawson reports, the governor wants to capitalize on the momentum pushing the sector forward as demand for cheap power grows.
The move announced at the Idaho National Laboratory Monday comes as the Trump administration seeks to make the regulatory process faster and cheaper for new reactors. Little says the permitting process has historically been overly burdensome. It includes numerous safety checks for the same project.
The redundancy is not a bad thing, but it was the time it took to approve that redundancy that was killing the industry.
Utah Governor Spencer Cox joined Little at the INL as part of his focus to champion nuclear energy in western states.
We cannot move at the speed of government. We can't move at the speed we've been moving in the past. We really have to hyperscale.
Idaho currently uses no nuclear energy to power the state. INL has already or soon will help launch multiple reactor projects for private companies testing their feasibility. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
Broadband and broadband access, or the lack thereof, will be the topic of much discussion today at the Idaho Statehouse. The legislature's Broadband Advisory Board reconvenes today, and at the heart of today's session and all of their meetings thus far is the fact that Idaho ranks dead last in the nation when it comes to internet speed. According to the website that tests connections, Idaho has an average download speed of just over 120 megabits per second. That's about 41% lower than the national average. And that is according to highspeedinternet.com. And indeed, the problem is mostly in our rural areas due to the lack of cell towers and high-speed fiber optic cables. The Idaho Broadband Advisory Board is tasked by the legislature to prioritize broadband projects. Its chair is GOP State Senator Doug Ricks of Rexburg.
Just in a short few years, we've come a long way after this original committee was put together, this advisory board, and kind of to get broadband on the map a little more in Idaho.
On today's agenda, a look at applicants in the Broadband Equity Access and Deployment, or BEAD program. The Broadband Advisory Board meeting gets underway at the Capitol at 10 o'clock this morning. Summer-like weather is expected across much of the region today. That said, this week we did take note of the autumn equinox, roughly equal amounts of day and night across the globe, and we will be seeing shorter days and longer nights in the days to come. But we should also take note that at some very high peaks here in the Mountain West, they've already seen their first snowfall. Rachel Cohen has more on what we can expect in the months ahead.
Forecasters are predicting La Niña is likely to return this fall and early winter. Anthony Artusa is a meteorologist with the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. He says La Niña generally means cool and wet weather for the Northwest and Northern Rockies.
Idaho, the Tetons, they're favored to see a bit more snow than usual.
Northwest Colorado also tends to benefit from La Niña winters. It's the opposite story for the Southwest U.S., which is predicted to see drier than normal conditions. For the in-between states like Utah and part of Nevada, storms can be a bit more episodic.
So you may get one event here, one event there.
But overall, Artusa says this is predicted to be a weak and short-lived La Niña. It means things are just a bit more uncertain. For the rest of fall, he says, expect warmer than normal temperatures, especially in the Southwest. For the Mountain West News Bureau, I'm Rachel Cohen.
And that is today's episode of The Connector. I'm George Prentice. We'll see you back here come Wednesday. To stay in touch with the news between now and then, check out our website, BoiseStatePublicRadio.org, or download the free Boise State Public Radio app for now. Thanks for listening.
It's rare to find a podcast that can actually change your life. But when the show's called Life Kit, that's kind of the whole point. I'm Mariel Segarra. 3 times a week on the Life Kit podcast, we guide you through a topic we could all use help with, from personal development to healthy living to managing your dinero, with takeaways so you can start living what you learn right away. Escucha el Life Kit podcast from NPR.